There it
Hi
is.
there. My name is Kevin. I have Springfield Leather here, and I have this wonderful gentleman on my right, which would be your left, and his name is Denny. He's a master leather tooler, and I have Liz here, which is trying to hide and do her best. I'm going to untuck my shirt because this is very physically demanding and challenging. We are doing a class on how to make money with leather work. So there's several things that are involved. And if I appear to look away, it's because I'm looking at people
Yeah,
rather than
I think
the
it's good for
screen.
you to address the room, and it'll be fine.
Okay.
I think that'll be better.
Well, to start with, there's two reasons that people do leather work. One is fun. The other one is money. There is a distinct difference between the two. This class is all about how to do leather work to make money. Now, you notice we didn't say how to do leather work and make a lot of money. We didn't say that, and that was intentional, because you may, depending on who you are and your circumstances, but probably not.
I got reprimanded the other day.
Really? Again?
Because I said, this is your deal, because you said it's how to make money, and I'm poor. And they said, well, they didn't say make a lot of money.
That's right. There's an old saying in the leather world. If you want to make a fortune in the leather world, if you want to make a small fortune in the leather world, start out with a big one. And that will take care of that. Several of the things that you need to take into consideration are really obvious. Like, number one, do you have a place to work? Number two, is it big enough? You've got to have some kind of workspace. Hopefully it's big enough to where you can use a 4-inch ruler, 4-foot ruler. I'll get it. And you got to have a place to keep your tools and your supplies. It doesn't have to be huge. Again, it depends on what you want to do. But the real big thing about this is your attitude. That is a big deal, and I really can't emphasize that enough. In order to make money with leather, you've got to have the right attitude. And you also have to have and be aware of your circumstances. So, number one, if you're going into this with the thought of making a lot of money, we already discussed that. It's probably not going to happen. If you want to learn how to use leather work to make some money, to augment your income, that's what this class will help with. It'll do that. Over the years, I've done leather work to make money. So has Denny. And you have too.
A little bit.
A little bit. And over the years, we've dealt with a whole lot of customers that do leather work to make money. And we've had the benefit of learning from their mistakes, what not to do and what to do. In my years with Tandy Leather, I learned some of the things that really work, and I learned some of the stuff that was really stupid. So we're gonna get right into that.
What are we going to do? The ones that work or the ones that are stupid?
I've already did most of the stupid ones. There's no
Kevin,
sense in showing them.
Are you gonna talk a little bit about how, like, whenever you were working for Tandy and the supplemental stuff that you did with like Silver Dollar City?
Well, yes, and that goes to the circumstances thing.
Okay, yeah,
When
sure.
When I started doing leather work for money, I lived in an apartment over the top of my father's restaurant. I had the circumstances where I could hang leather products in his restaurant, and customers would see that. Now, this was in the 70s, and they're, oh, that's nice. It's only $30? Well, I'll buy that, or $10, or whatever it was. That worked pretty good for me. Got to the place where I could sort of restock that on a daily or every other daily work basis, and that worked out nice. Out of my garage at home, before we were doing this, we knew people in the Branson tourist area, and because of having those contacts, we were able to sell certain things to them. And I learned something. I learned something that's extremely important. And if you don't take anything else away from this class, take away the KISS principle. Maybe you know that already. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. The humor here is quite low. But the price is right for you guys watching on video. So don't complain about that. The keeping it simple is extremely important. Because when you're doing leather work for money, you have to take into account your time. You get complicated and it's going to be tough to justify a profit. Now, you guys have seen some of the samples hanging around the walls in here that Denny has made. Pretty tough to go tool a wallet, tool a handbag, and make money doing that, unless you have the circumstances. And by that I mean you'd have to have the correct marketplace, you'd have to have access to your customers there, and things that relate to that. If you have customers that are on the East Coast, maybe New York, Pennsylvania, places where they don't have a lot of access to tooled leather, you may be able to command a high price for a tooled leather belt. Here in Missouri, maybe not so much. So you got to keep it simple. Some of the things that we wanted to talk about, if I miss something, please blab at me. A belt. I learned a long time ago in the leather world, a belt is one of the simplest ways to make money that you can possibly ever come up with. If, big if you can sell it. If you can't sell it, you ain't gonna make any money at it. It's just that simple. Everybody and their brother and their sister wears a belt. So the market's there. Everywhere you go, you see belts for sale. Clothing stores, they all got belts. Walmart, they got belts. Belts are good. And they're simple, especially when they're black. When I taught leathercraft in schools, we would always do, at first, we always did a belt. And I would take a belt blank, and I would take a wing divider, and I would run a line down the middle of it. I would hand the dividers to a kid, and I'd say, open those dividers up about that far. And he'd open them up. I said, that's good. He'd hand it to me, and I put those dividers on the little center line that I scribed down the middle, and I go, bunk, 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 bunk. Now, so I'll pick a tool out of those right there. He'd pick a stamp, I'd go bonk, 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 every other dot. I'd pick another one. He'd pick one. I'd hit it on the other dot. Pick another one. Pick a long one this time. Next thing you know, you end up with a belt. Now, I did this in 1979. I don't know how it ended up getting found here, but it did. And it's very simple. And you can see the principle of having those dots every now and then, and it worked out okay. Now, today, if you were able to do something like this, there would be a market for this because you could sell it fairly reasonable, especially if you're cutting your own belt blanks. If not, if you have to buy one, you might have to sell it for a little more, but it's okay because it works.
Is that some of that like yellow latigo that you guys always talk about?
This is not that, but
Nature tan.
there was.
Yeah, the nature tan stuff.
This was not nature tan.
Okay.
But anyway,
Here, let me do this.
I always would take a stamp on here, and on the ones I did in school, I would stamp one backwards. I'd say, oh darn, and I would just leave that. And I said, now, we're gonna make this belt nice, and we would go through all the steps, and we would stain it with an antique stain. I wouldn't do the painting on it because that was just too much time-consuming work. We would antique it, wipe it off, and it looked pretty good. I said, you see the mistake? Oh yeah, I can tell. Well, you know what you could do with that? Nope. Diet black. Give it to Uncle Frank. I made this for you, Uncle Frank. He's gonna love it. You can tell him about the mistake if you want. He's gonna say, I never would have seen it, or whatever the case. And guess what Uncle Frank's gonna do? He's gonna wear that belt, and he's gonna talk about it. Now, we go back to this attitude thing. You need to adjust the attitude that you have so that you can take advantage of the circumstances when you do leather work. It can be something as simple as you want. But for me, if you ever have anybody to your house, I do not understand why you would not have a set of coasters on your kitchen table. I don't understand why you would not have a set of coasters by the coffee table, by the couch, or in the center of the living room. And things of that nature. You might leave an empty, small card wallet laying around. That stuff works.
Well, I was gonna, you have that story of the young man from whenever it was either
I'd like
Tandy.
to tell you that.
Okay, you're gonna get there.
Yeah,
Okay,
that,
okay.
when I was in Fargo, North Dakota, there was a mother and son and daughter, and
We're having a class right
the son's name was Chad. He was about, I want to say he was 8 or 9. I don't know the daughter's name. But Mom brought these 2 kids in every Monday night to the leathercraft class. Now, the daughter did not want to do leather work. Mom wanted to go shopping with the daughter, and she wanted me to babysit Chad for the hour and a half, which I did. And that's the way it worked. So Chad was 9. We started learning how to stamp leather like the belt. And he just wasn't very good at it. He didn't really like that. So Chad saw a piece of leather that I had on the table. It was just about this big. It was shark skin. And he said, can I make something out of that? And I got to thinking, well, yeah, I probably can. Let's make a wallet. So we did. We cut out all the parts. That's simple. You guys can cut out all the parts, especially if you have a little template there like we have for our belt end. You can cut the parts for that. And we glued them together. No big deal. It's pretty easy so far. Then, after we got them all glued together, we punched holes around the edges with a happy little chisel. I don't know if you can see those or not. But Chad didn't do the best job of punching the holes around the edge with the chisel, but he got them punched. And then we had to lace it up. He's 9 years old. Lacing was a little bit challenging, but I was really surprised because he picked it up and just did pretty darn good.
Just like a whip stitch around the edge.
Actually, he did a double loop stitch.
Did he? Okay.
And it would just go through the hole, through the X, through the hole, through the X, through the hole. He got it around there. He made a few mistakes, but he got it all done and showed it to his mom. And Mom said, wow, that's pretty nice, Chad. It's shark skin, Mom. Whoa, really? Yeah. He took the wallet home, sold it to his dad for 25 bucks. Dad was trying to be helpful. And that was pretty good. So Chad, the light went on for him. He could make money doing leather work. Chad's father went to work and took out a fellow workmate to lunch. And he goes to pay for his lunch. And the friend of Chad's father said, hey, that's a pretty neat wallet. What is that? That's shark skin. Shark? Let me see that. He looks at it. Where'd you get that? Chad made that for me. Chad, your boy? He's only 9. Yeah, but he made it. He made it at the class down at the leather store. That's just pretty cool. Do you think Chad would make me one? I'm sure he would. They're $35. A little commission went into effect there. And Chad made wallets. Now, let me tell you, from that point on, Chad was 9. He was probably getting close to 10 by this point. On Saturdays, he would be on his bike riding around the neighborhood in Fargo there. and he would go see his friends, and he would knock on the door, and Mom or Dad would come to the door. Hi, Chad, what's going on? Oh, come to see Billy, you know. And he would go in there and wait. And what you been doing, Chad? Chad had this sack. He said, I'll show you. Kadump. Out came all these little checkbook covers and wallets and card cases and wristbands and key fobs and all this little stuff. Wow, Chad, where'd you get all that? I made it. What do you do with all that stuff? I sell it. I do those key fobs there. I can put your initial on that. Chad sold stuff. In 1983, I moved down here. I had probably somewhere around 1993, give or take a little bit, I got a letter, a card in the mail from Chad with a picture of this young man standing by this blue Ford car. So I just wanted to show you, Kevin, this is the car I bought with my leather money. Pretty cool. You can make money with leather work. You just have to have the right attitude, and you have to be willing. We talked about the kiss.
Good, like,
I'm sorry?
concept a little bit of you know, like, as you make stuff, like you're walking around with the bags that you make. So, you know, if you're at the mall and somebody's like, oh, it's a really nice bag, like, just always thinking about those opportunities to advertise yourself is all, like, it can never hurt. And people may not buy something from you, but they'll think that it's cool, or they might have a friend that's looking for something and be like, I know this person that I met, or my friend makes leather stuff. Let me get you her card or give you their number.
Be alert for opportunities.
Yeah.
Be observant. That's critical. Because, I mean, making money is a pretty important part of life. You don't need to make it your life, but it needs to be a part of your life because you got to pay bills and hopefully
Buy
have
food.
some left over for Culver's or wherever you happen
And
to
buy,
like to go.
buy a blue Ford car.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to this KISS principle, well, the first thing we're going to do is a belt. And Denny, would you be so kind as to help this young lady with the tool? Now, we got two people.
We got two. Yeah.
Okay, you got a belt in front of you, and you got one in front of you.
And you've got one in front of you.
Oh, that's exciting. You have water out here?
Yes, I do.
Oh, happy days. Okay. First thing we're going to do, now, it's got a little nick in it. If I were, and by the way, you need cutting tools, which is why you see a knife. If I were doing this in my shop, we got a little gadget, you can just pull this through and it makes it thinner. You don't have to have that. You can buy that when you've made some money.
So you just fold back and turn back. What about you got like 5 or 6 inches there?
Yeah,
Yeah, you always want to wet it because leather is pretty firm, and it will crack. It'll check if you don't wet
yep.
it.
So we're gonna wet that. You wanna help them get theirs
Yes.
wet and,
Yeah.
oh, you got water over there. Never mind, I'm sorry. I'm just blind. I'd dip it right in it. Let it sit there for a minute, yeah. And make sure you got that much or more sticking out the back.
Right sides together, wrong sides.
Right side. You're
Squish it as good as you can. You wanna get
you're
it
folding
just
the
like
grain
that.
side in. The flesh side in. No, other way. Yep, there you go.
You can tap it a little bit, but if you do, don't tap it very hard. Make sure it's pretty good and wet before you do that, because
Maybe tap it on your granite and not your pound.
yeah, that can
Yeah.
crack the leather a little bit.
Or
Yeah,
emboss
that's
it.
the way to do it. Right.
There you go. Thanks.
Maybe Kevin, before you really get started on the belt itself, you want to talk about just a couple of tools that you need in your shop to do leather work.
You gotta have a knife,
Gotta have a knife.
and you need a few hole punches.
Hole punches.
Yeah, you need if you're gonna start out and keep things simple, 3 would be ideal.
What sizes of hole punches would you get?
Oh,
1/8 inch.
yeah, eighth inch is good for snaps and rivets, and probably for the turn back you'd use a 5/16
Yeah, or
quarter,
even a quarter.
and then for the belt holes,
Probably the 5.
3/16 maybe.
Yeah.
There's nothing written in stone in a lot of
It
this.
depends on the belt buckle you're using. Some of them have a really thick tongue to them, so you
Yeah.
need a little bigger punch for those.
Sorry, Danny, I don't know what I'm thinking, but
And then
when
you also need a granite. Yeah. So you need
gotta
something.
have granite.
Yeah, you gotta have something to punch on. So we have this granite slab here. You know, we sell them. You can buy them. They're really expensive to ship. So if you
Go to a place that sells countertops.
Yep.
They've got broken stuff that they will probably give you.
or sink
Some of them will
cutouts.
pay you to take it.
If they don't, then offer them a couple bucks for a good size, as thick a piece as you can get.
And then some sort of a cutting surface. So like some sort of a poly surface. You can go to Walmart and you can get like one of those
A cutting board.
a cutting board
Like
that's
that.
like thick. Yeah. Some sort of a cutting surface.
Now,
Okay.
take your template and lay it down so that slot is your fold is right in the middle of
Yeah,
that
it
slot.
centers right in that slot.
And then I don't know if you have something to mark with. If you don't, we'll get you something. Mark where those holes are. And for what it's worth, this is just about the hardest part of the whole deal.
And we do sell a tool called a Belt Ninja that has both the turn back and the tip situated for you. And then it'll, like, we have a skinny version that does, I think, 1 1/4 inch, 1.5 inches, and a 3/4. And then we have one that we call the Fat Boy, I believe, or maybe just the Fat Ninja, that is 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches, and a 2-inch, I believe. And it has little notches so you can center it. So that's just like a handy thing, or you can make your own turn back and tip template.
Just do the holes and pull the edge too.
I'm sorry?
Can we mark the edge right here too?
Sure. All you really need to do is mark at the top of it a little bit. Draw a little line so that you can see it, and that'll be good enough for now.
And then just, you want to talk about a mallet real fast?
Well, you gotta have one.
You got to have a mallet. You don't want a metal hammer, right?
You do not.
You don't want a metal hammer. So some sort of a poly or a rawhide mallet are ideal. You can probably get away with a rubber one for a minute, but you would want to upgrade to a poly or a rawhide at some point because the rubber is going to bounce on you a
By
lot.
the way, don't worry about perfection. If you're a perfectionist, you're not gonna be happy. So it's just, leather work is not for perfectionists, unless, well, it might be if you get that far. So I'm gonna take this larger hole punch. And the first thing I'm gonna do,
So maybe just for folks at home that haven't seen this. So here's our template, and this is what we've got here. And so what Kevin is going to do, so he punched a hole at the end at
Of the
each
slot.
Yeah, at each end of the slot, and then we're going to manually cut it because slot punches are like $50 or more. They can be very expensive to get a really nice one.
If you want to buy expensive tools, I'm all about it. Buy them from me. It doesn't matter to me where you get them. I don't really care, because if you get other tools, you'll use them, and that's what counts. And we are a good place to buy leather, and we're a good place for knowledge.
Yes.
Once you got your holes punched, do any of they got X-Acto knives or something?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They've
We're
all
gonna-
got something.
We're gonna cut that slot out. I have a little snap-off utility knife blade. And again, you're not gonna do it perfect. It's okay. You just don't have to. You might have to go over it a few times.
You don't necessarily have to follow this line.
A ruler is something that's always really nice to have.
Yep.
Um,
Once you got your slot cut, it ought to look something like that.
Vertical.
Oops. Guess I need to show it for the camera, don't I?
there you go.
Okay, there we go. That's what the slot looks like. Every once in a while, give it a little fold just to help your belt to remember. One of the other things I did not tell you, and I should, that if you're going to stamp on a belt, which is fine, if you decide that you want to stamp horseshoes all the way down your belt or whatever, make sure your belt is sticking out to your right. That way, in case you decide to use those big 3D stamps with a horse head or a fish or a deer, they'll be right side up when you go to put the belt on.
If you're a man,
Yeah, it works both ways.
no, we put our belts on differently.
You do a lot of things differently, I'll tell you.
Would you like to compare? Which way does your tongue go?
Mine goes the other way that yours is. Yeah, but you're weird.
Okay, right. That's my bad.
That makes all the difference. Okay, now as long as you're cutting,
Yeah, everything is opposite.
and you made a little mark at the top of your template there on the leather. Now you can use one of those real expensive $40 end punches to cut the end off, or you can do what I'm doing. I just cut it off square, and after I do that, I'm gonna just kind of notch it here a little bit. I'm gonna cut the corner off, and then I'm gonna cut the other corner off so that it looks roughly the same. Okay, so everybody can see that on the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you are. And so that you can see it, that's what it looks like. Now, again, you can use one of these big honking things to cut the end off. Sheesh, that's expensive, Denny. If you do choose to buy one of these at some point, they're quite nice. You have to really hold them down.
And you have to have granite.
You have to have that granite. That is mandatory.
With that piece of poly on top.
Yeah, yeah.
You can do this on a corner post, but you still gotta have the poly on top of it. Whatever's underneath has to be solid. And you'll drive yourself crazy if you try to use this tool with that little plastic mallet. That's why you use this.
And especially with the slot punch, so if you do get to the point where you're purchasing slot punches and using them, there you have so much cutting surface that you're attempting to drive through the leather, that if you don't have a granite and you're just attempting to do it, like I've had people call in and they're working on their concrete floor, and they've got a piece of cutting board on top of their concrete floor, and they just cannot seem to drive their slot punch through anything. It's because the surface underneath is still just not hard enough, and the punch is just going to bounce on top of the leather. So you have to have the granite, and then a heavy mallet to drive it through.
This is part of the keep it simple. I don't know if you can tell that. Let's see. Get the video. My end is not absolutely perfect. It's pretty close. I don't know if you can tell, my half moon is just a hair off. Yeah. And if you get somebody that says, you know what, that end's not quite perfect. I don't think I want that belt.
Instead of $40, charge them
I don't think I want to sell it to you.
$44.75. Knock off a quarter.
There are some do's and some don'ts that are associated with belts. I want to make sure you get this down. This is important. You never, ever, under any circumstances, sell a belt to a lady that says, I need a size 36 for my husband. Never. I don't care if she needs a size 42. Never, ever do that. The logical question, go ahead, Natalie.
Why?
Because the last time she got a belt for her husband was with her. And he tried this belt on at Walmart or wherever, and he wraps it around. Ah, it's okay. I'll take that. And he buys it. And it was a size 36. 3 years later, he's gained 20 pounds. And that belt has stretched out to where if you actually measure it, it's a 38, maybe a 40. And I'm wearing size 36 jeans. I don't care what size jeans you wear. I buy all his pants for him. I buy size 36 jeans. I'm sorry. So obviously you can't communicate it to the person in the same manner that I just did, because I'm all sarcastic and I get full of that, as well as other things. But you can tell them, I've learned over the years that in order for me to make a belt that really works well, I need an old belt. If you can either bring your husband, or if you've got an old belt of his that he's using, I can do that. I can make a belt from that. Otherwise, what I can do is if you take a tape measure or a string and you measure from where that belt folds over to the hole that he is hooking that buckle in, and you can tell, you measure to that, I can make you a belt from that. So you just got to be careful. The belt that you're replacing is going to be a 36 and now a 38 or a 39, and it's going to be loose and floppy and wrinkled over in the back and stretchy. You got to take that into consideration. So you tell her, you stretch that belt out good. Stretch it out, measure that string, and I can make you a belt from that. That's the only way. Ain't no other way. If a guy comes in, says, I need a 36 belt, have you got a belt on, sir? Yes, I do. Can I measure from that? Mm-hmm. Sure. And you go through all that, and you lay it out, make sure you stretch it, because guess what? This is brand new, and the belt that you make him is going to be a good one, and it's going to be solid. At least if you get the leather here or wherever, it's going to be a good belt. And it's not going to have all that stretch. So there you go. You get your measurement, and since this is a brand new belt, I lay it out there, and I mark that center hole right there, and I make sure I put at least 2 on each side of it. And then I get kind of frank with the guy and say, do you think you're going to lose weight? Ha ha. Nope. If I do anything, I'm probably going to gain. Make him 1 more hole. So would you mind if I make you 1 more hole just in case? Not at all. So you do that.
Or kind of finagle which one is like because typically the center is the one we're going to size to, but you could size to one of the the smaller holes and then give them larger ones. Like I do that for kids all the time. If a kid comes in and we're gonna get them a belt, I'm gonna make the hole that they're in right now the smallest option, and then allow for the bigger ones.
I hate
as
to
they
do
grow.
this, but I'm going to. Danny, you got a ruler?
Just happened to.
Also, I think it's good to remember to ask, like, do they conceal and carry? Or, you know, are they carrying anything on their belt? Like, do you have somebody that always has a specific knife case that they like? Because that can
radio.
sometimes, well, yeah, you know, what do they wear on a regular basis? Because that can also affect the length of the belt that you make for them.
This is mine, obviously, just took it off. And these pants that I'm wearing are officially size 32. 32 waist. I'm hooking in this hole right here. You want to read that?
That is, you're in this hole?
Yep.
That is 36.
I don't know what to tell you.
You know, most people figure if you wear a size 36 pants, you wear a size 38 belt. That's not always the case.
It's just not.
Not always the case.
So, it goes,
Anytime you make a belt and someone won't be specific with you, they're taking a chance as well as you.
yeah. Just to reinforce a little bit, belts are the easiest way to make money with leather. They're just the easiest way. If you don't have the circumstances to sell belts, well, then I'm sorry, you'll have to take other options, which we'll talk about. But belts are the easiest because you're almost done. Let's see. Oh, I should have measured mine. Well, it was 36 to the hole. So we're gonna put a mark right there. I use my thumbnail.
Thumbnail's a good tool and it's cheap.
It works, yep. Then I'm gonna take the middle size hole punch that I have.
What size is that, Kevin?
I do not know. It says it's a 5/32.
Thank you.
I'll find that mark, punch my hole. Now, if you wish, yeah, there's tools like this that work. Kabunkity, you make your marks and you keep them all nice and perfect if you're that person.
Oh, Kevin's gonna eyeball it.
I'm just not that person. Well, I want to make a point. And that point is, leather work does not have to be perfect. And it just doesn't have to be. And people get caught up in that. And they try to make something perfect. Oh, I'm trying to sell this. It's got to be perfect. It doesn't. You tell me how those holes look. They're pretty darn close. They look good. I mean, that's fine. So how long was my belt? Well, I don't know. I didn't measure. How long do I want it? You like a lot hanging out there, sir? Nah, not really. Yeah, leave me plenty extra. You got a choice. I'm gonna make mine right there. I'm gonna take my little knife because it's cheap and I have it. And since I'm trying to get started making money, I'm just gonna cut the end off my belt. Yeah, it looks reasonably good. I'll live with that. And then I'm gonna take and cut the corners off. That's sort of okay, pretty much. And then I'm gonna take this end and I'm gonna cut that off. You wanna get fancy, you can cut the corners or you can trace around it. You've got this, that would trace around it. I've got a belt, except it's just not quite done. It's almost done. You need to put a nice touch at the end of it. You got an edger, Denny?
Yes, I do. Just happen to. Use that one.
Ooh, that's a fancy one. We're going to go down the edge of this belt, and we'll see that you get something that'll work. And I will tell you this. Anytime you cut a piece of leather, the main thing is sharp. Tools have to be sharp. Knives have to be sharp. They have to be. It's worth so much to learn to sharpen a tool. It's why I buy these little snap-off knives that you saw me use to cut off the end, because I can snap off the end of it and I got a wonderfully sharp surface.
You can save this and cook it later. Not
Now-
all that good, but you can do that.
You can call it good right there. Or you can do the back edge.
Now, Kevin, let's say you're setting up at the farmer's market and you're gonna take belts. Do you take belts that are already sized, or do you prep a whole bunch of strips and then size them at the show?
Well, one thing I've learned over the years is that people basically like leather, and they enjoy, as customers, we all like an experience to go with whatever it is that we buy. So I would never take pre-sized belts to any place that I wanted to sell belts. The circumstances would have to be extreme for me to do that. I set up one young man who wanted to make money with leather at a farmer's market, actually. He had a booth there on a regular basis. And I told him, just take belt strips. Punch a hole in the end and hang them up. If somebody wants a belt, you can have a sign, finished belts, while you wait $40 or whatever you want to charge for a belt. And then you have to have the way to fit it to the customer. And we showed him how to do that. There you go. Yeah, don't angle it in too hard. No, that's too far. Less angle. There you go.
It might help if you stand up, actually. Like, it, yeah.
After, watch Denny and then you do it.
I'm left-handed, so you have to bear with me.
Well, maybe you won't.
And let me show you on this side. See, once you get started, just keep going.
It might be a little bit easier for you to move your cutting board and just do it on the granite surface, because then you don't have to fight two things moving on you.
There you go. Yeah, keep the wooden part of the tool lower, closer to the, that's it, closer to yourself. There you go. Keep that tool closer to yourself.
Is that the right width? Perfect. Okay.
Oh, here. Or did you get the right one? Or?
Yep, I got it in the English tip.
Well, you're gonna need this probably.
The mallet he's got over there may not be too bad. We'll see.
Oh, well, try it. Hold it down hard. There
Perfect.
you go. And don't go stabbing yourself with that little edger. Because it's easy to do. Usually you only do it once.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that's a joke.
So, once, if you are back to the farmer's market situation, having 3 or 4 strips hanging there gives your customer the ability to pick which one he wants. And I always had one that was hanging there that was extra long. And that was for good old Billy Bob that weighed 400 pounds. Bet you don't have one that fit me. Oh, yes, I do. You know, pull that off of there and you can make him a belt. But you got to have an old belt to measure or something.
Well, okay, so we have that on our retail showroom. So anytime you come and you buy a belt from Springfield Leather, they are all, unless they're Denny's custom ones, right? Basically what the
They're
shop
all
does.
unsized.
They're all in size. They have a turn back, they've got their buckle on it, and we have a sizing belt that hangs next to our rack of finished belts for the customers. And so we're gonna say, hey, take off the belt that you have and put this belt on for me. Make sure that you cinch it up where you want to wear it.
Through your belt loop.
Through your belt loops, because a lot of people, they'll just kind of wrap it around themselves at somewhere that is not where they typically wear their belts. And then you'll end up making a belt that's either too large or too small for them. So have them physically put it on just like they put on their other one, cinch it up real good. And then, we always mark our holes we do a lot of letters, so nobody has to, maybe if you get to Z, you might be a little sad, but we just do a lot of letters. So we'll start at A and then, okay, I'm looking at hole H, or you could do numbers however you want to do it, but.
Yeah, a lot of it goes back to the keep it simple, stupid principle. You want to make sure you keep everything as simple as possible. I have a rule, it's called head 'em off at the pass principle. And what that means is to anticipate whatever problems you think you might have, try to solve them before you have them.
Yeah.
That is worth so much. It just really helps a lot. So I've got this particular belt all edged and ready to go, and you guys are getting pretty close. For those of you that might be watching this, keep in mind, again, it's the principle of making money. Now, as we go through this, and you can't see the people here that are making their own belt. This belt is going to take, with all of my talking and everything else, you won't have an hour in this belt. Now, let's just say that you have, I don't know, $10 or $15 in this belt strip, and you got another couple bucks in the buckle. You should be able to make this belt. Denny, what would you like to estimate if you were just sitting down and you've already made a few and you know what you're doing, and now your tools are set up, your hole punches are there, for you to make that belt and be done with it? Would you think 20 minutes?
20 minutes, yeah, tops.
Yeah. 20 minutes. That's pretty darn good. Your profit margin should be able to be successful with that.
And if you're doing this to take someplace and you're doing more than one, your time element cuts way down. Anytime you make 2 or 3 of something, you've saved a lot of time, because you don't have to get all your tools out. You don't have to get one specific tool and do that and put it down and then find another tool, because you're doing it to all of them at once.
You also want to remember that anytime you're in a venue such as a farmer's market or any other place, if you're there with your product, the customer's experience is going to be enhanced 100%. Because one of the things I've noticed whenever we go to events, as soon as people start to hear, they want to know what that is. And they come and they see what you're doing. Or they walk by and they see that you're edging a belt. Or they see that you're punching a hole. They're going to stand there and watch.
Yep.
Well, take advantage of that when you can. let's see. We all edged.
Good enough.
Let's get it edged. Let's get the end cut off. And, you know, edging that back end, I don't know why you would, really.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
When you get somebody, you ain't gonna get somebody that comes up and say, I wanna see the inside of your belt. If that person comes up to you, you need to get away from them. And because and you just don't need to do that because it's just more work. And so live and learn. Think, you know. It's a lot of this is about thinking, and I don't know, probably took me a lot longer than necessary to figure out that I didn't need to do the back edge of a turn back or whatever. Okay. Now, almost lastly, I'm going to take this water. Well, I ain't going to take it. I'm going to use some. And I'm going to get my belt edge wet. Kind of, sort of, pretty wet. And this is not absolutely necessary, but it's part of the experience for a customer.
It adds a degree of finish.
It really does. And you need to be conscious of that.
But
Denny-
this is something you wouldn't be doing at, like if you were at the farmer's market and you had a series of belts that you were sizing for people and selling them, you should already have this done at home.
That's correct.
You know,
Denny, have you got something that you use to,
yes, I do, right here.
well, I don't really want that right now, but, oh, that'll work. This is a piece of canvas.
Yeah.
Typically, I would use either a piece of coarse cloth. Canvas is really good. You can use a piece of leather. You can fold this piece of leather over and do the same exact thing.
You can use an old denim, like you got some jeans that you wore out and you cut up. You can use an old piece of denim. You might be careful on natural because the blue might bleed a little bit.
Brown grocery sack stuff works good.
Now,
You got real desperate at one point, didn't you?
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys-
any friction is the key.
take a look and compare the edge.
Just
with
with
yours.
two swipes.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's smooth. So doing that to your strips while they're hanging there is simply one more thing that you don't have to do in front of the customer. Or you can if you want, but you don't have to. I'll let you use the canvas. If you know anything about leatherwork, then you'll know that there is a lot of different tools that you can use to edge a belt. There you go. That's it.
Watching.
Two of you can do it if you want. Just pull it, hang on to it good and tight, pull it through a couple of times, and you're done. You can even use a piece of cardboard like this, which I'm just going to ruin this. But if you pull that belt through this hard piece of fiberboard, you can see I got some black on the back because it's wet. It does the same thing. It slicks it up really nice. You can buy one of those fancy little round wheels, stick it in a drill, and bzzz, but it's the KISS principle. Keep it simple. Be done. And that way you've got some kind of profit in here that you need to make it worthwhile. Lastly, let's see. There's two kinds of buckles you can use.
I've only got one there, I think.
It's okay.
Oh, the boys have some heel bars.
Pardon?
The boys have some heel bars if you want a heel bar.
No?
No? Okay.
Now, with a a belt buckle is a secondary thing for a customer. Because the first thing they're gonna ask, does it come with that buckle? Yes, it does. Can I put a different buckle on it? Yes, you can. As long as they can do that, they're gonna be happy. So I've stuck this buckle on here. The advantage of this is that when you wear this and the guy puts it on like this and he buckles it, he can do this with this buckle. He doesn't have to leave it hanging out like that or try to fit it through a belt loop. The other thing is it can be like mine. I have a little leather loop that's on there. You can do that little leather loop thing. My suggestion would be to buy a leather loop. They cost 50 cents or something, I don't know, and put that on there. Or you can make your own with a stapler. That works okay too. So once you've got your buckle on there, and you don't even need to have that on, but there's two ways to fasten this thing together. And I think I just threw all my, there it is.
Okay.
You threw all your Chicago through the way.
You can put
You're
a,
being Santa Claus at the parade.
yeah. You can put a snap in here, which requires a snap setter and a little bit of expertise on your part. Not a lot, but a little, and you can learn to set snaps. But these are called Chicago screws.
If you lost one, leave it there because the dog will find it.
Yes, there it is. So we're going to put that screw on here, in here. I'm going to start it with my fingers.
You usually put the screw on the bottom or the top?
Pardon? The screw part should be at the bottom, actually. The part with the slot in it should be at the bottom. I did mine backwards because I thought I had a decorative one here, but I don't.
Guys have the squeeze hole.
You know, I do have one. We don't sell it, but I have one in my room. Hang on just a second.
I didn't bring it.
So when your customer says, how do I change the buckle? You just tell them. You just unscrew those screws and put the buckle on that you want, and you're good to go. And again, I want to emphasize, all of this is simply done in the interest of trying to make a little bit of money with your leather work. You're not going to get rich, but you can make some money with it. And that is a belt. We've got buckle on there. And hopefully I could wear that now, which I'm sure I could since I measured it from my old belt. And it's good to go. Thank you. Now most places, what do we sell these for, Denny? 35?
35, I believe, something in that area anyway.
And this particular leather is high-end leather. It's Herman oak leather, and it's expensive to buy, and it's a belt that's going to last somebody for years and years and years. And you're going around all kinds of pants and shirts and everything else. So, but hey, it fits. and it'll fit even better once you get it inside. Yeah, and some places, these are quite commonly sold for as much as $50. You know, you go to a Western store and they could cost you quite a bit,
Yeah.
especially for a good quality belt.
The thing is, the material's expensive, so you have to charge accordingly, you know. Don't be afraid, because they can go to Walmart, price a belt.
What I was gonna say, they can go to Walmart and buy a belt, and then in
Yeah.
about 45 to 60 days, they're probably gonna need another one because it's
It's
gonna
separated, and they
tear,
made
or
from
the
two
cardboard's
layers.
falling out.
Most of those belts that you buy in a department store or someplace like that are made out of 2 layers. One of them will not be leather, it'll be cardboard or paper. The other one will be a lightweight leather on the top. And anyway, that's just the way it is. We have any stamping tools, Denny?
No. I know.
So to make this belt, we used 2 different sizes of hole punches, an X-Acto knife, a knife of some sort, a beveler, a mallet, right?
Yes.
I mean, and then, so like these tools you need for everything. If you're gonna do leather work, you have to have some hole punches, you have to have mallet,
Cutting tools. Yep.
and
gotta have
probably
it.
a wing divider is really handy.
I don't know what kind of stamping tool you want.
Oh, this is good.
Wing divider, yeah. This is critical leather
do a
working
coaster,
tool.
Denny. Something round. I thought I took one out.
I think they're over there.
No, I did that on purpose. We need to
Another set out here.
let's see. One and one and Denny, have you got a good sized camouflage tool?
Yes, I do.
He gives me one big enough to. It's perfect. It's the exact one I wanted.
Your wish is my command.
You know, it's really funny. Years ago, when I was making belts for the Branson area, I used this tool. Called it our snake belt. And all I did was take this tool and go all the way down the piece of leather. Bonk, 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 bonk. Just one right after the other. Oh, he sold so many of those belts.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. But
it looks good.
to make it work, you had to have a pretty good mallet.
Yeah.
We're on the
Perseverance.
Oh, my. That was tough. I would go home and do those.
why are you doing it on your cutting board?
Well, it was there. And it works. I just got this coaster wet. One thing you learn when you're doing leather work, if you're going to stamp on it, is you learn quickly the right amount of water that you have to have in it. Don't soak it. You just get it wet. And all I'm going to do is go around the outside edge of this coaster. And again, if you're worried about being perfect, just stop it. Because you're not gonna. And it doesn't really matter. Now, as you get around here, if you're doing something simple like I'm doing, you might want to start thinking as you get about this far. You want to think about how this is going to work out. So you lay your tool down there and you kind of make some little bitty marks and you see where you're going to end up. If you're not gonna end up right, you gotta either squish things together a little bit or spread them apart a little bit. I think I'm going to squish things a little bit, and I'm gonna tip my tool just a little. There you go.
Beautiful.
It's real simple. Yeah. So get all the way around the edge.
Is it all you're doing?
I don't know. You want to put something in the middle?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Draw a hummingbird, Kevin.
No. We're keeping it simple. So, let's see. You got a critter?
Critter, I got, yes, I just happen to have a critter here.
That's
What I don't have is a handle of it.
where's the tool back.
Yes, I do. That happens to be the only critter I've got on here.
It's the perfect critter that I wanted. Now immediately, this should put thoughts in your head. Anytime you can add a theme to something simple and do it in simple fashion, it adds value to your leatherwork.
Well, and if you're at a farmer's market or anywhere, and you just prep a whole bunch of posters with a border around them, then you could maybe have some themes laying out on your table, and you could customize them as you're there if you wanted to.
Or some letters.
There's
Yeah.
so much you can do. A
Personal
set of letters. Yes, I can do a set of coasters like that for you if you'd like your initial on there. I
Yep.
can do that for X amount of money. Simple, simple. I would avoid stamping names on belts until you get good at it.
It's really easy to do it upside down. I did that at Farm Fest last year.
When I was with Tandy, I had a lady pull up to our store in her car. She's in a wheelchair, and I had two big concrete steps. She couldn't get into our store. She was a regular customer. It was a dumb location. And I go out there and see her. She says, "Kevin, I need a belt, a size 36 with Bob on it." And she's been buying them from me. I knew she was trustworthy. I went out and got the belt, and I stamped B-O backwards B.
Yeah.
So I put that belt aside. I got another one, and I stamped B-O sideways B.
You're really struggling.
I was really struggling. Took me 3, but I got it.
Third time's a charm.
So we got around there, got around all the way around with an edge. Okay, Denny, so what we're gonna do, Denny's gonna do this part. He's gonna stain this and make it look nice.
Well, I'm gonna stain it, okay,
Would you?
certainly.
You stain it, and I'm gonna go around this. Good heavens. Once you tell me you're gonna give me a sharp one.
You cutting all the way through?
No.
Well, you are using a really heavy mallet.
You're right.
Okay, to do this, I've got some Phoebe's Vintage Gel, which is an antique type stain. And I'm gonna wear rubber gloves when I do this. You don't have to if you like stuff on you. You know,
Some people do.
some people like
Leave it
stuff.
this?
And this, you don't have to be, you don't have to be real careful. I just squirt some on there. And then I'm gonna take this piece, you can use anything, a sponge or anything to
You got enough on there to do this one too?
probably sit it over there.
See how far you can go.
Well, I was gonna say, if you don't want to necessarily color it, you can always just make sure that you have a little bit of neat's foot oil on hand. You finish it, neat's foot oil it, let it dry, put a quick coat of like quick shine or leather sheen on it.
Are you just using a dry sponge to get the dye?
And I'm just gonna take
Just
a
a
paper
shearling.
towel here
Put our little shearling pad.
and wipe off the excess.
You can also use a damp sponge.
Let me see. If you let it set too long, it'll streak, but just get your
But it's an
paper
antique.
towel. Yeah, just get your towel a little bit damp and it'll,
Or your sponge.
Or your sponge.
I like sponge personally.
And these aren't fancy sponges; they're just dollar store. What is it? Cellulose sponge.
Yeah.
Whatever
This is
that's
one
called.
of those that are like paper thin until you put them in water and then they explode.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick shine,
Right,
I don't
Kevin,
have
to
any
your
quick shine. I've got some leather sheen.
to your
over
shelf.
here.
leather sheen.
On the other
I
side.
don't know if I can get to it.
You're taller. You might be able to. Here, let me climb up there.
Wait a second.
He's got the hole.
Nice, there you go.
How's that?
Hey, whatever.
You're a ganoose.
Improvise.
Don't do this inside.
Yeah. Denny does.
I do.
What are we doing outside?
They're thinking
I was kind of
Our sign
Oh.
blew over.
Oh, okay, we're done with the sign. Thanks, guys.
You got about a minute left to dry time, if that.
All that does is seal it so it won't rub off, and it'll also kind of waterproof it a little bit. So.
Yeah, you don't want your coasters too absorbent, you know.
A set of 4 of these or 6 of these is worth something, especially if it has somebody's initial on it.
Yeah.
Or it could have, if you wanted, Bob on it.
Sideways.
B sideways, B.
That would cost more if I was going to stamp Bob on there.
But look, like if you're out at the farmer's market in 5 minutes you can have something kind of ready to be stamped, and maybe you have a couple different examples of some finished coasters, right? Like what it's going to look like. And you know, you maybe you have 3 different colors of antique. Maybe you've got a mahogany, you've got a black, and then you've got a brown. And
As long as you
maybe
have
there's a little
picked-
bit of a choice if you wanted to.
As long as you have picked on the farmer's
Trash right here, Kevin.
market thing, you should be stamping these while you're sitting there anyway.
Yep. Because that'll bring people to the booth.
It will. They'll come over there with their tomatoes and
It is getting to tomato. Kevin, are you got some tomatoes going?
I do.
It's gonna be a good year.
Don't have any real ones hanging on there yet, but I'm working on it. Okay,
So that's
Let's see.
coasters.
What?
Oh,
we have got,
where are you guys at? You guys gonna keep stamping a little bit?
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. And then this one is made so that you can just whip stitch a lace around. So if you wanted to do, you know, just basically this situation on the edge, you know, you could customize that in people's preferred colors, match their home decor or whatever. You could have 3 or 4 different colors of lace. They wanted it laced up.
yep,
That probably wouldn't take all that long.
it just goes to the, you gotta keep that KISS principle. Keep it simple, everything. On another note, while you're sitting there stamping or doing whatever, we have a number of customers here that make their living they pay their bills with earrings and bracelets. You got a pair on? You do, yeah. There's a lot of people that do this. When we go to the markets every year, there's people there selling leather bracelets, leather jewelry, leather this, leather that. They make hair ties, they make hair clips, all the things that you want. Now, it's nice if you want to stamp on your leather. It all goes back to the things we talked about at the beginning, your attitude and your circumstances. If you're not happy making money with belts, that's fine, and it's your business. You do what you want. If you want to make jewelry and you like that sort of thing, that's fine. Focus on that. And don't be afraid to copy, because everything is copied anyway. There is nothing new under the sun, really. And so when you can see an idea and expand on it or adjust it or use it, feel free to do that. You guys are much more familiar with earrings than I am, because I just don't wear them.
What?
You should.
Yeah, I know. I just laid 2 little pieces of pre-cut leather. Now you can cut these out. Another thing you need to have is scissors, by the way. You need to have a pair of scissors. Scissors are good ones that'll cut.
Cut that right in half.
Yeah. I am going to punch a hole right there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you slide a hook earring through that.
Well, I would use an O-ring first.
I'm sorry?
An O-ring first. is
Like
what
a
I
jump
would
ring.
do. The jump
Great.
ring,
Yeah.
Do whatever you need to do.
and then I
Put the O-ring thingy on there, put the hooky thing in there, do whatever else you need to do, and you have a pair of earrings. That's simple. If you want to take a piece of pink leather and a piece of red leather,
mix it up.
great.
Yeah.
2 shades of green, 2 shades of black. If you're a motorcycle person, use a piece of black alligator or whatever. And now, a number of our customers started out, one in particular that I remember was Nina Potts. Nina Potts made her living selling leather jewelry, and she did little flowers. That's all she did. She didn't do anything like this because she was all caught up in flowers. And she did the dogwood flower and a number of others that she had fancy names for. And we cut those out of really thin vegetable tanned leather, because when you get this wet, you can mold it. You can kind of shape it. And we cut those shapes for her, and she painted them because she was an artiste, and she painted them very pretty. And she sold those earrings for a lot of money, a lot more than what I thought they were worth. But she got hooked up with a couple of stores, and so she wholesaled the earrings and the pins and the hat things and everything else that she did with those little pieces of leather. They were painted nicely, they looked really good, and she got kind of big bucks for those things. And they were resold all over the United States, and we were the ones that cut the earrings for her. She had the dies, the cutting dies made, and they were kind of expensive at that time, and this was probably 25, 30, 35 years ago. Those cutting dies cost about $50 a piece. They were dies that we could use with our clicking machines, and we just go kabonk and pshunk, and you got a shape instantly. And it's the same with these. I cut these out in just a few minutes, and
I was gonna say, and this is something that we sell. You know, we sell the veg tan blanks. So like, if you can go to our website and you can buy all sorts of different
Yeah.
shapes of earrings that we already have cut out. If you want them out of anything other than veg, you can give us a call and let
Yeah,
us
small
know, and
camel
then we
tool.
will, you can
Small
buy a
camel
piece of
tool.
leather from us, and then we'll cut out as many parts as we can get out of it, as whatever you want. So any shape that you see that we sell on our website or in our catalog, that is a cutting die that we have, and we can cut parts for you out of whatever leathers that we stock. or for the lovely folks that are sitting in this room, you can
smaller
bring us
or
leathers if you already
smaller.
have things. And for a small fee, you know, we'll cut out the parts, which is just a lot of time saving for you as the crafter. Cutting out things is the thing that takes the longest. So, you know, if you're gonna make coasters, I would say buy your coasters from us and then do it. You know, cutting out a coaster
Yeah.
is gonna take you forever, and it's probably worth the $1 that we'll charge you to cut it out, for you just to not spend the time doing it.
Again, it's the keep it simple thing. We have many customers that make holsters. They make concealed carry holsters, and they can sew them because they have a sewing machine, but cutting them is an entirely different matter because it's heavy leather. It's very difficult to cut. It's hard enough to cut thin leather with a knife that isn't wonderfully sharp. So our clicker press is just so kabonk, and it doesn't care how thick the leather is. You just bang, you got a part, and there you are. So we sell those per piece to the people that are making those holsters. Some of them they'll order 100 holster pieces at a time, and we don't make very much money doing that, but they make a pretty good chunk selling their holsters. And if they buy their leather from me, then I'm pretty happy.
Well, and the thing is too, if you've got any kind of a project that you're gonna do repetitively that needs to be cut, you can cut it yourself.
Can you
or you
see
can have a die made, you know. A lot of them are fairly inexpensive. If they get very complicated, that's when you run into dollars. But then you can have a die made and just leave it here, and when you say, I need 50 of them, come in and tell us, and whatever leather you decide, you know, we'll click them out for you.
There are no end of shapes that you can make earrings with. And I tell people, my thought is, if you want to try making money with leather, make a pair of earrings
Pick out a couple pairs.
and wear them, or give them away. And if you're a guy, don't do that.
Or do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. But it gets down to, again, there's a template. You can make yourself a template out of stiff paper.
Or a lot of your like cheaper lasers that are coming out these days will cut like earring thickness leather as well. So, you know, if you decide that you really get going in this and you wanted to get some sort of a laser, a lot of it will go through, you know, 3 to 4 ounce pretty all right. And you can use that to cut your parts out and do some custom cutting as well. You getting there?
I was looking for little ones of these. Oh, there they are.
All right, so we got this set.
Here. Nope.
Yep.
What can we help you with?
I just wanted to step in and watch for a little bit, if that's okay.
Certainly.
Yep.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
And we got enough to do this one?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. So, we're gonna use glue. It's a little scary. Would you like to assist in the gluing? So, let me show you how I do this, and then you can figure out how you
Yeah.
wanna do it. I'm just gonna do, do we have another one oh, there it is.
Here's this, or would you like a special Coke bottle?
No, this is all right. Although this is pretty good. No, because this is precise. I need to go around an edge, and that's really just better for doing big spots. So you want some sort of an adhesive. We've got Masters contact cement, but if you are working at home in an enclosed area, maybe the Renia Aqualum 315 is a good option for you. It's a water-based contact cement that will be much nicer on the lungs in enclosed spaces.
How do you get this
Here,
open?
well, I was just gonna use this one instead of opening a whole new one.
Oh,
You know, I
Okay.
figured maybe not use
you're
the
gonna do it then?
inventory. Yeah.
Very nice. Watch. Liz is very carefully applying glue just to the edge. It doesn't take a lot. Matter of fact, if you miss some of the edge, it's okay, because the rest of it's going to hold anyway. The only thing you typically, most of the time, use glue for, if you're going to do leather work to make money, is one of two things. You're either going to be joining leather together permanently, or you're going to have it be held in place while you do something else. And most of the time, that's the case. You want it to be held in place while you're going to do something else. And in this case, it's going to be held in place while we punch holes.
How about,
So you notice that she's just not getting a whole bunch of glue on there. Now, everything that we do, yeah, that's a good one. Show them that. Everything that we do with any liquid of any kind is said to, you should put it on there, and then, like with the antique, let it dry. There's balance to everything. You saw how long we let it dry. We didn't let it dry at all, because we've been working with this antique for years. We know what we're doing. So you're gonna pick up on that pretty quickly. You just don't have to wait overnight for something to set and finish. The same way with the finish that we applied to that, is apply your finish, let it dry for X number of hours. Well, you saw how long we let it dry, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it's okay. However, I would tell my customers, if I sold them a set of coasters and if I sprayed the finish on them while they were standing there, now it'd be good if you kind of let those things dry for a little while. That's what I would tell them. Because you want to be on the safe side. There is another thing that I wanted to tell you, and I almost forgot to do it.
Denny, this brush is it's hard.
Yeah, well, that's Denny's brush.
All right.
If you decide you're going to do leather work, try and do leather work for money, make absolutely sure when you have enough money to give the customer their money back when they bring that belt and say, I hate it. Make sure you have that in your head. There's not much very free in life.
Are you good? You
Oh,
understand?
it's just a little bit wet.
Yeah.
We had a young man that worked for us years ago, and he had a leather business of his own, and he did pretty much okay, kind of, sort of, did okay leather work. And he got carried away making motorcycle seats and a number of other things, and he charged kind of a lot. And he had a wife and 4 kids. He was a young man. You remember?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. He's working out of his home, and he was making money, and he was getting by pretty darn good, making so much that he wanted to get a shop so he could set it up and do more. He came to me and wanted to rent one of the spaces that we had here. I told him, I'll rent you a space, but I don't think you should do this. You should work out of your home, because you're making money out of your home and your profit's high. If you have to pay $1,500 a month at the time, every month, rent and the utility stuff, it's expensive, and you've got to do a lot of business to offset that. I tried hard not to do that, and it didn't work. He wanted to rent, so he did. And he brought a motorcycle seat in that he did, showed it to us. It was really nice. And he charged $1,300 for the customer to make this motorcycle seat. It was beautiful. The customer came and picked it up from him, and he came back, the customer came back the next day to see me, and he said, is that guy, he's not there today, is he gonna be around? I said, I don't know. He said, well, I got this motorcycle seat from him, and I paid quite a bit of money. Look at this. I'm looking at it. In the side, there's a hole about 1/8 of an inch. And it was kind of down near the bottom, and you really wouldn't notice it unless you're looking pretty careful. But he says, I paid a lot of money for this. I don't think that hole should be there. I think you're right. He took it up with the guy. And guess what? He didn't have enough money to give his money back. He spent that money right now on what he needed to do. You want to go show him that?
Yeah.
Here's what we got.
So with contact cement, you want to put it on, and then it needs to get tacky. This isn't like holding forever. We're gonna punch holes and we're gonna lace the edge, so you don't have to be like as particular with
Right.
how long
Yeah.
it sets up.
Took the pieces,
Yeah.
put the cement in the appropriate places,
So we've got, this is just
glued
a
them together.
vertical style minimalist wallet that you're
This
gonna
is what
put
we
some,
have.
yeah, you're gonna put some credit cards in. So 3 pieces, you got 2 tall pieces, and then 1, front pocket, so you can kind of see it a little bit. But
Now,
just real simple.
there's a
Real
real
simple.
good reason as to why we're gonna do this. And there's some things that I wanna tell you about this dumb little wallet that we're gonna make. Did you show them all? Mm-hmm. You got a good look at it? Get your glue on your pieces there. Not a lot of glue. Less is best. Just very, very little to the extent that you can. When it's kind of dry or dull looking, press them together.
Ideally, if you have a metal hammer, you can hammer them.
Well, you can hammer it
Seat
with a
it.
mallet.
You can hammer it that way.
This wallet, I have gone to trade shows and seen little credit card wallets like this. I've seen them sitting in vendors' booths. If they'll have the name of the vendor on the side, and they'll give you one if you're a good customer. Or certain vendors will have a little bucket full of these on their booth, and they'll sell them for $5. Some sell them for $10. I have a customer that comes in. He's a corporate lawyer, and he takes these and sells them for $35. You remember what I told you about circumstances? Be alert to your circumstances, because he can sell them for $35, and he does. He makes an extra pocket on the back. That costs more. And the work is the same. It's just the same.
Maybe he hand sews them.
He does hand sew. Another thing he does, and this is what I think is really smart, because he's alert to opportunities. He takes a little tiny piece of alligator and uses that for the pocket. That's worth $75. Piece of shark.
As I say, we sell what is it, $25 for 2 pounds of exotic remnants.
Gosh.
And you could cut that pocket all day long.
Yeah. Some of the guys, you got it all glued up? Okay. Some of the guys that do holsters, they take a little thin strip of alligator and wrap it around the opening on the holster. There's just no end to things that you can do. Now, I am going to take the easy way out.
And we're gonna use our cutting board.
And I need a round hole punch that isn't quite this big.
Do you wanna use this one?
No, I do not.
Okay,
But thank you.
you're welcome.
I'm gonna put this hole punch away because Denny gets mad if I don't put him away.
And you probably want a wing divider too.
I want who?
A wing divider?
What for?
Maybe not.
Oh. You do. Actually, there's a number of ways that you can lay out the spacing on your holes. You can do it with this wing divider, you can actually do it with one of these chisels, just by taking the chisel and pressing it onto the leather. Then you can take and punch your holes every other punch mark, or every punch mark.
Oh, I see what
Or-
you're doing here.
I don't want to open this. Or you can just use a multi-pronged chisel to poke all the way around. It's all pretty simple. Preferably at home, when I was doing this, I had one of these sets. Actually, I had 3 sets. And I just kept the proper tube in the chisel, in the handle that I used all the time. And then I had another handle and had a different tube in that one and another handle with a different tube in that. So I just take the one I need. It's called that keep it simple, stupid thing. So I'm going to take this hole punch here, and I think I'm just going to knock a hole up here in the corner on both sides. I don't know if you can see that on the,
Up, 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 up.
you see that? Maybe not.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So what size hole punch did you use there?
I'm not sure.
Probably,
Small.
probably says on the punch.
So, there you go. You can see, just knocked a hole in the corner. I'm gonna go down to the next piece. Two holes. Pretty simple. And hopefully you can, me and cameras don't get along all that well.
Got it. So you just, so at
Yeah.
the top of each of your pockets.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, if you're more comfortable spacing out your holes, this is the time. Open up your wing divider. And then you can go along and mark
Over there, they probably.
where you want your holes. I get terribly lazy when it comes to marking out my holes. And I have a tendency to just go ahead and punch my holes. Now when I do this, you're going to realize soon enough that it's not perfect. You're also going to realize, I hope, that it doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to remember, leather work does not have to be perfect. It bothers people so much sometimes when things just are not perfect. Holes. Very, very simple. You can pass it around, take a look at it. When I taught leathercraft in schools, I always made a wallet that would had a stamped scene on it with a log cabin and a deer jumping over a fence, some trees, and a rabbit. And I had stamps for all of that. And I would stamp the log cabin and stamp the deer, and I put the fence there. I knew how to do this. I could do it in a little under a minute because I've done so many of them. Could just have this thing done in like a minute. For class purposes, I always take like 4 or 5 minutes, and I'd let the kids hold the tools, or I'd hold the tool, and they could hit it. That was risky, but it worked out pretty good. I never ever got hit really very much. And I was just going along one day, and I stamped the rabbit, and the rabbit, instead of being horizontal in front of you, the rabbit was sticking straight up and down. It was the dumbest looking thing I ever saw. This one little kid says, "Oh, look, the rabbit's jumping straight up." And Okay.
Exactly.
So I told them, again, just remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. We stamped some grass around that rabbit and made him look sort of okay. And I brought the piece of leather back to the store. I glued it onto the inside of a wallet, punched the holes, laced it up, laid it out there for sale. We sold them for $20 at the time, and some lady comes in and says, "Oh, look, the little rabbit's jumping straight up and down." She bought it.
Oh.
Uh,
What punch was this? What size?
Small.
that was a 1/8 inch punch.
What they said. They said small.
Here, you want to use this one? Now you can look at mine, see where I punched the holes. We have another 1/8 inch punch, I think, or close.
So you could probably use a 3/32 if you wanted.
Pretty big.
What other size do you guys have over there?
This one will work. Oh, this is an 1/8.
I think.
Sure. Just next time trying to peg him, you know? Like, throw with purpose.
Now when you punch, make sure you're punching onto that cutting board. Otherwise, Denny comes unglued.
Your project.
You glued up?
Well, you're gonna make yourself spend more money because that punch ain't coming back. Or it'll be a size bigger than it used to be.
Again, keep in mind, so simple. But you actually, as you're making this, again, you're creating something that you can give Uncle Frank, especially if you stamp his initial on the front of it. Or you're creating something that you can give to somebody else, or you're creating something you can sell, either way.
I was gonna say, and even with these little minimalist wallets, you know, you could make the back couple of panels out of some sort of an assorted oil tan, and then you could have the front one be veg tan on all of them, and so that when people come up, it's ready to customize. And so you just have it there, and you're like, yeah, what are your initials? Stamp right in. Do you like a bass or a deer? You stamp it right in. Whatever they want, and then you can just hit it with some oil. You could antique it if you want, or you just leave it like that, hit it with some quick shine, and call it a day. And you've got a completely customizable, because you could still stamp it when it's, you know, you could have it all completed, ready to go, and you just stamp it on your granite.
Yeah. Again, keep in mind, everything we're talking about here is done with the purpose of trying to make a profit. I've done leather work for years and years, as has Denny. Have you ever done anything for fun?
The stuff I did for fun wasn't all that much fun.
No. I did a lot of leather work for fun, just
Yeah.
because I like doing it. One time I made a picture. I decided I wanted to have a picture of an African savanna with a lion and
Did you decide this, or
Elephant.
did Becky decide this?
I did. This was before I ever knew Becky. This was
Oh.
a long time ago. That picture was 4 feet wide and about 2 feet high. I don't know if you were here when we used to have it in a break room, and it got wet due to water. Somebody ended up throwing it away. It was a really pretty nice picture, and it took me 2 months of working a lot on it. Nobody in their right mind is going to pay money. I couldn't have charged enough for that, but it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed learning from it. And I did learn some things. You know, I learned that it can be a lot of work doing stuff like that.
Well, and once again, it's all about finding the right market. You know, we've got one of our customers that's kind of local. She lives up by the Lake of the Ozarks, and she makes pictures out of leather, but she has found a really high-end
Clientele?
circuit of shows that she goes and she sets up at. So it's a high-end a show production company, and they do shows all across the country. And so she'll set up at 3 or 4 shows throughout the year, but she has to have very specific product to match the show's qualifications. And she can sell a picture probably for $2,500 or $5,000 or something. I don't know what she sells them for, but they're huge and they're neat.
You know, I like the example of that family that comes in with that little girl. She's not a little girl.
Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how old is she?
I think she may be 20.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She started doing leather work, what, 3 years ago or so?
Maybe 4. She was on the podcast. She did a really good interview for me on the podcast. Yeah, she started, I think, when she was going to be like 14.
Her parents
And she started making bags.
did a farmer's market. They raised vegetables. That's what they did.
They raised them.
They grew them. They got this stuff out of the ground, and they took all their vegetables and fruit in the farmer's market, and they sold it. And the girl, well, she ended up making a couple real simple little things,
Yep.
and she sold them. And then she sold some more. And then it got to the point where Dad was coming in and said, you know, she's selling more stuff than we are. And the last time I waited on them personally was probably a year or so ago. But I mean, it's been, other people have waited on them since.
Yeah.
The last time I waited on them, she spent $6,000 in
Yep.
here buying nothing but leather.
She does that
And
probably
she
about
was
every 3
making
months.
wrist purses and bags and oh
Yep.
goodness. She had the circumstances. She had the farmer's market where they had all the vegetables and the tomatoes and everything.
And then she started doing Facebook, and she built a reliable brand. She has a really good price. You know, she's not extravagant. She's not making a ton of money, but she's making a solid product.
And it's simple.
And it's simple. It's fun. It's bright. It's colorful. Same way with the Van Arsdales. You know,
Oh.
I would actually, so between the two of them, they're both bag makers, kind of a little bit, you know, you've got an older one and a younger one, but they have a very similar experience. And one thing that Sandra talks about is that when she goes to her show, she takes all of her bags almost completed. She's kind of found like this perfect spot where she's almost done with it. And it just needs a couple more things, because just like Kevin said, people like to stand there and watch you. They like to watch you do it. There's something very fascinating about, you know, when we go to the store, everything that we buy now is made a million miles away. And there's just something very personal about actually watching a person make a product that then you get to carry. And she says that's where a ton of my business come from. You know, I'll have somebody that comes up, they want this bag finished. I say, cool, you can stand here and watch me or come back in an hour. And she just sits there and she's finishing out the bags in whatever different ways. I don't know if there's like some customizing options that she has, but she's just there to finish some stuff. And she's like, I get more clientele because I'm sitting there making something. They can see that I'm making it. And
She's
that
a
makes
unique
difference.
individual too.
Yeah.
So as things go along, when you're trying to make money with leatherwork, you're going to find out that it pays to have tools. Tools make your life easier. They're expensive, kind of. But depending on what tool you buy, it can be well worth the money. And one of the things that I tell people, if you're if you're making a little bit of money with your leatherwork and you want to take the next step, buy a sewing machine. Buy a leather sewing machine. Spend the money. Get a new one. Don't buy a used one unless you want to be a sewing machine mechanic. Then you can buy a used one. But just buy a new one and it will make you money. And that was what happened with this lady that you talked about.
Sandra.
We sold her a sewing machine.
Yeah, this was like her 5th iteration of like careers as a person, because we went through all, when we did the podcast together, we went through all the other things that she's done in her life. And she's just a crafty person. I think she made like baskets, and maybe there was like, she was making dolls for a while, but she's always made something. And then she ended up in leather bags in like her 60s, you know, and now she's in her mid 70s, I believe. And she's just, they've booked out and they're going to all the shows. And
she gets overwhelmed easily. You know, she does. And now they have like 3 sewing machines. Mm-hmm. And the last one that I sold to her, she took it home, and like 2 weeks later she says, Kevin, I can't use this machine. I just got to get it back. give my money back. I said, fine, but I talked to her husband. I said, look, she needs to learn to use this machine. I said,
You want to tell people what you're doing though?
I will.
Okay.
Tell her to take it back and use it, and just use it and suffer through. Sew on scrap, do anything. Well, it wasn't 2 weeks later, she came back and says, I love this machine. There's times when you just have to put the time into learning how to use a tool. It's a lot like that edger that you guys struggled with. You don't have to struggle with it. Once you figure out, I mean, you saw me use it. You just got to know how to hold the dumb thing. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to do this right or not. I shouldn't be leaving here.
What do you want me to do?
Well, I need to stand in front of the camera. Otherwise, I run around.
All right, what are we doing?
Well, we're going to do that.
Okay. So we've got the pocket.
You can take it over there.
You've got the front pocket. Hold on, I'm going to try.
Lift up the front pocket a little bit and stick your lace.
Leave a tail out coming from the front in that second hole.
Yep.
Whoop. Or just pull it right out.
That's not what I had in mind. No, wait a minute. No. Okay.
I got it. All right. All right. So we have a little bit, what, like a half inch of a
An
tail?
inch is fine.
Okay.
Better more.
All right. So we have a little tail.
And I don't know if I got enough lace here to do this, but if we don't,
probably
we'll
have
splice.
2 yards-ish. Surely we have enough. All right. Now what?
Well, make sure you got it like that first. You might want
Okay.
to take it over there so they can see it easier on hand, first hand.
The right side up or the wrong side?
Yeah, you've got it right.
Yeah, that's, so you want, just gonna keep pulling it out. Finished side, kind of.
Yeah, you're going to go around the edge, so you want the finished side to go around the edge.
Yeah. You guys are good. Okay. Everybody's here.
Okay. So, yeah.
All right. Can you?
What?
I just need you to work right here.
I will.
Okay.
I'm going to take my leather with the pointy end. If I was going to do this for real, I'd put a lacing needle on here. But I want to show you that you don't absolutely have to have a lacing needle. We're going to go through the top corner, untwist your leather as you can, pull it down.
Don't catch the tail.
Got it? Take the tail, shove it down in between the leathers. This next part is a little bit tricky.
Here, let me take that so they can see what you got going on there.
Okay, I take it back. Don't shove it down between the leathers. Leave it sticking up.
Okay.
And here's what you should have. You want to show them?
All right. So then you came out. You should be coming from the bottom, and then we're gonna go back into that hole that we didn't go into when that guy was coming out,
This is the hardest part of everything.
and then you're gonna pull it. So like. So we've done one loop. Oh, you haven't done your loop around the side yet. So let's do one loop around the side. Make sure we're not gonna catch the lace in the first one. There we go. And then now you're gonna come back around and go down through that hole.
That same one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So down through it from the top.
Did you go through the, which hole is your lace, your end of your lace sticking up?
The second one.
Second one? Oh, the top one on this side.
Oh,
No.
yeah. You want to be looking. So we want to be looking at the side with the pocket, right? So you're gonna pull this out because you never want to go back in the same side that you came out of. So you're gonna go around.
Your lace
and
should
then
come
down.
out at the second hole.
Go around and down.
And then down, yep, down through there. Yeah. So we're always going around the edge. All right, yes. All right, so you're finished.
Don't lace over the little end.
Oh, you don't want to lace over the little end?
Not yet.
Oops. Here.
And when you get it about like such, we're going to take something and stick that little tail down in between the leathers. And you can use
Like on the inside of your holes.
a wing divider. You can use anything that's kind of pointy and small.
I gave them all. I gave them both a scribe.
Yep. And truth be told, any way of lacing this together works. You can go up and down through the holes. That's probably the simplest. I chose the most difficult.
I guess at this point that would be a handy time to actually have a needle on the end of your lace, because then if you have that needle on there, it won't matter if your tail's in the way of the hole. You just wiggle it out of the way and put it in. When you don't have a needle on the end, that makes it a little bit more difficult to get the lace out of the way.
Just going around and back.
Are you doing an X, Kevin?
Nope.
Just at the top.
Just at the top.
All right, so now we're just spiraling down the side. We're just spiraling out of control.
Around the edge.
That's what we're
And
doing.
here, you can show them this. Let's hold it up so the camera can see.
So that's just a booklet. Well,
Yep. So we just tucked that original little one down, and now we're just
Yeah.
going around.
Once you get past that first stitch, it's all downhill from there.
It's all around the mountain. Oh yeah, once you get up to like that last like 3 or 4 inches of your loop, make sure that the lace is laying flat before you pull it all the way through, otherwise it's gonna get difficult.
That's why you use round holes,
There you go.
just so that you can twist your lace if you need to. If you use a flat hole, it's a little harder to twist your lace, or to untwist your lace, I should say. So now we're just gonna go around real fast and call it good, pretty much, mostly. If you want to, some people choose to go through corner holes twice. You know, I think maybe I'll do that.
I think that's a good idea.
Do you miss your wallet lacing days?
No.
Yep. That was a stern no.
Kevin used to lace while driving his car to and fro Ozark, because that's where he hath his residence.
Man, I laced a lot of wallets.
You laced a lot of wallets. We would get in the car to go out to WISA every January, which used to be out in Denver. It's now in Dallas. But the shop would prep him like 25 to 30 wallets, and he would lace them while we drove across Kansas.
While he drove.
While he drove across.
You know,
Yes, you did. I was there
I could lace
in
them
the back of the van, praying that I didn't die.
I could lace them blindfolded. I actually closed my eyes and laced, not while driving.
Okay.
But I wanted to see if I could do it, and I could. But that was a long time ago. You know, did I ever tell you why and how that ever happened?
I don't
It's
know if you
because
did.
when I was doing leather work in my garage, I had met this young man at Silver Dollar City who worked in the leather shop, and they wanted to know if I could make wallets, Western floral wallets. And they said they needed to pay $10 for them.
That's a very cheap wallet.
Oh, I could tool really fast, and I don't have to have a pattern, as you know. So I thought about this for Silver Dollar City, and I said, I'll tell you what, we'll try it. They said, well, send us a dozen. So I made 10 Western floral tooled wallets and sold them to them for $10 a piece. They sold those things like before you could blink. And they sold them for $30 a piece.
Oh, they were making good money.
They did real
You
well.
were getting screwed.
So I made another 10, and they were quite happy, and they said, "Can you do anything other than those flowers?" I said, "Like what?" "Well, can you put like a deer or a bass on them?" Oh, boy, can I.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, so instead of taking, I was tooling those things in about maybe 15 minutes. It
Wow.
did not take very long. And now I could take my wallet back. I put a log cabin and a lake and a bass, 60 seconds, done. Tooling
We do
was
have that
done.
on video. Kevin has done. That was a long time ago when our shop used to be all
Well,
the
I
way
can
on the
still
other side of the building.
tool that.
And he could just whip out those wallet backs like nobody's business.
So anyway, that was pretty happy. Then that made my $10 tooled wallets sort of livable. But it wasn't long after that they came to me and says, we really like your wallets, but not everybody likes that lacing. I mean, is there any way you could sew these?
He said, finally.
Thank heavens. I said, yes, I can. Except that I didn't have a sewing machine, and I didn't know how to sew.
Hey, you're
But
getting
I-
up to the end. You want to talk about that real fast?
Pardon?
You
When you
finish-
get up to the end,
Yeah.
slow down.
I'll wait.
Anyway, I bought a used sewing machine, which was really stupid, because I ended up trying to be a sewing machine mechanic.
Yeah.
Oh. And I couldn't sew them. I was sewing nothing but seconds. I couldn't get it done. Tried and tried, more grief than you could shake a stick at. And finally, some guy talked me into buying a new sewing machine, Brother sewing machine, that was so leather, and it was so slow. And I got that. I paid $1,300 for that back in 1985 or 6 or whenever it was. And I thought the world was going to come to an end. But I immediately started selling sewn wallets to Silver Dollar City for the $10, and then it went up to 12 and 15, and then, can you make anything besides wallets? Yes, I can. I can make checkbook covers. I can make credit card wallets. I can make all kinds of little stuff. Tell me what you want. We sold them so much stuff it was not even funny. And then we got into Mutton Hollow and did the same thing. And man, I was making 300 belts a week for Mutton Hollow. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of work.
I feel like Molly and Lindsay were making 300 belts a week.
No, it was me. Me and Becky and Molly and Lindsay were braiding mystery braid wristbands for 10 cents. Can you see that? When you get to the end, you get to the last hole, okay?
Oh, can you show up real fast? Right here.
Oops, here,
Okay,
you show
right
'em.
here. All right, so we got to the last hole, and we're just leaving that last one loose. So you're just whipped it all the way around, maybe twice on the corners if you're feeling frisky, and then you're gonna leave that guy loose. All right. Oh.
Then,
Okay. Now tighten them up.
this is the hard part. You have to lift up that top corner In other words, you don't go all the way through the wallet, you just go through that top pocket. Take it over there, show them, do whatever you gotta do.
So you came out from the back, and then we're going back into the second hole, and then you're coming out between the two pieces of leather.
Okay, maybe they didn't take a look.
You guys got it?
I got the blue.
You pull it tight, and because you've used those round holes, you have enough space to where you can stick the pointy end of that lace.
So you come out from the back, around to the second, and then you're gonna come out between.
So I was supposed to. That's when it came out.
Yep, you went too far. You went all the way through all the leathers, and you need to come out. So,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, I was gonna say you could either do that. So now feed it through, and you're just gonna pull this. So you
Pull
can
your
use
pull
little,
your pocket up a little bit.
yeah, one of your pokey tools to pull it out from the. There you go.
That's it. So, you get it? Snug it down. I'm going to cut it so that I've got about
Like a half an inch of tape.
that much lace sticking out. Then I'm going to take either my finger or something else. Leave a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch maybe. Leave about that much sticking out. Here you go. Stick the end down inside the wallet.
And you're just tucking her in. So you got an X on both sides.
Get it?
I think so. You guys getting your stuck in?
Good job, Kevin.
Now think for a minute. Piece of alligator on the front, piece of elephant on the front, little piece of hippo on the front. Elephant is absurdly expensive to buy, so is hippo. But you can get scraps pretty darn reasonably.
House stamped.
You can get cow stamped elephant. Yes, you can.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things. You can get printed leather that looks like
Elephant stamped
alligator
cow.
or lizard or whatever, and you can put that on the front, and that becomes, with your attitude, your circumstances, your keep it simple, that becomes a pretty significant dollar amount. It could be anywhere from, well, you could set your own price as to what you want it to be. It varies on your circumstances. If you sell it on Etsy, you have the means to tell a story. Genuine alligator, genuine caiman, genuine this, whatever, lizard. When you have that ability to tell a story and provide a product, that's simple. And you know, the nice thing about it is you can carry it in your front pocket, and you're not going to get your pocket picked that way. You can put, if you want to put 4 pockets on each side of that thing, you could. You got a round hole punch it up. You can lace it. Now, if you wanted to, all you got to do, if you want to, start out the way we did, go all the way around, then go all the way back, and then you got something that's well, I don't have one here. You got a crisscross, and stick the end down inside, and you got it. It's about trying to make money. That's what it's about, and that's the name of the class, is how to make money with leatherwork. It's the belt. You want to get carried away with a belt? Punch some holes down the edge, lace it. Maybe not so smart, but it's an option.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it smarter, you punch your holes down the edge, and you don't go whippity 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 whip. Up and down through the holes, all the way around. Back in the day, that's called a buck stitch belt. People paid money for them, and they paid pretty good money for them, and they will today too. So it really, to sum it all up, it really comes down to how you think. It comes down to you deciding that you want to do this, and then you got to take your circumstances into account. How or where are you going to sell a product? And then your attitude. And that's what it's all about. Is there something I'm missing?
Yeah, and you can start out with just a minimal amount of tools, and if you discover that you need another tool, then add that. But don't buy a bunch of tools and have a bunch of stuff you don't need.
Nope.
You know, wait till you need them before you get that tool, or make yourself a tool.
Can you see the lace around that?
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Imaginary.
You know, it's there. You leave some hanging on, with this one, you leave some hanging on the back. You can glue it down, or you don't have to. Leave an inch or so, maybe an inch and a half out, and lace over the top of it. That'll hold it in place. Isn't that lace going to come out? Nope.
Maybe if you sit there and pick at it, but
Yeah. So I hope it does you some good. I hope,
does anybody have questions that they would like to ask?
if anybody does, I either know the answer or I'll make one up.
Isaac, anything over there?
I've been kind of keeping up with them. We have a couple, but
Okay.
Thanks to all the people watching, and sorry we had those big spaces of silence, but that's the way it is.
They're used to it. It's okay.
Not with you.
Feisty today.
So anyway, we got it.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Have a great weekend.